Blake Snell is 0-3 with 11.57 ERA. Does he right the ship? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. This is CrustyK from the Gold Boys Network here, coming to you with the slate preview for April 24th. Wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Let's jump right into the slate. The first one on the slate is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Jordan Montgomery versus Kyle Gibson. For me here, it's got to be a Diamondback spot. Kyle Gibson, not very good, as we've seen all season. I think he's allowed 3+ earned runs in every start. He's going to pitch into the 6th to kind of let him go, but he's going to give runs at the same time. So I think Arizona team total is a great spot here. Montgomery, I like him to pitch deep. He's not quite fully stretched yet, but I think he's going to go probably 6 innings here. I think you take a look at his Ks depending on the umpire too. If he gets a favorable umpire, he can definitely hit his spots and rack up Ks against the Cardinals team that takes a lot of pitches with 2 strikes. Our next one is the Mets taking on the Giants. This is Sean Manaea versus Blake Snell. This is what I was talking about when we jumped into this. Snell has not looked very good. Unfortunately for him, I think it continues here. This Mets team is hitting left-handed pitching extremely well. They're extremely patient at the plate, and with Snell's command, as we all know, if you can, lay off some of the breaking stuff, you're going to draw walks, you're going to get base runners, and ultimately, you're going to cause some problems for him. So for me here, I think you go with the Mets. I'm not a big Sean Manaea guy, but I think that they can beat Snell just on the fact that Snell hasn't looked like Snell just yet. He's sort of in spring training mode, in my opinion. What's going on, everybody? I just want to take this moment to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Thank you for sponsoring this video, and don't forget you can use code GOLDBOYS for a $500 deposit match on your first deposit. Thank you, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the bets. Our next one is the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Los Angeles Angels. This is Dean Kramer versus Tyler Anderson. So first thing for me here is Tyler Anderson, not great. Dean Kramer, not great. But in my opinion here, this Orioles team, especially on the third day of a series, I'm really curious what kind of lineup they put out, because Anderson can rack up Ks with a changeup if he gets a good spot. So I'll be waiting to see the lineup here and go from there in terms of Anderson Ks. On the flip side, Dean Kramer, a lot of hard contact, and I think the Angels can get runs. So for me here, it's probably a lean to the over. I do think both pitchers can give it up, regardless of whether or not Anderson hits his Ks. So over and potential on Anderson K's pending lineup. Our next one is the Boston Red Sox taking on the Cleveland Guardians. This is a rematch from the series that was at Fenway. Now they're in Cleveland. It's Cooper Criswell versus Carlos Carrasco. As mentioned before, Criswell, like a bulk reliever type guy, probably can go 3-4 innings before they turn it over to the pen. Don't love that. I do like the Guardians. Like I said, they're hitting the ball well. They're top 10 in every offensive category at this point. They just keep getting better, and they keep finding ways to win. So as much as I don't like Carrasco, same kind of thing here. You saw his changeup work. You saw him be able to keep these Boston guys off balance, and I think once again he can do the same thing. Our next one is the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Cincinnati Reds. This is Spencer Turnbull versus Nick Lodolo. For me here, I think Lodolo, it's one of those things where he generates more swings and misses outside the strike zone than pretty much any pitcher in baseball. So you get a Phillies team who, by rule, has been pretty aggressive. Not seeing Lodolo too much. I think they're going to struggle, especially the first time through the order. So depending on the K line, I think Lodolo can cover strikeouts. I'm guessing you're going to say like a 6.5. I'd be willing to take that. In terms of Turnbull, I probably looked at his outs. He's pitched pretty well. Coming off a game where he took a no-hitter into the 8th inning, I believe. He just looked really good. It really seems to have revitalized his career going to Philly. So I like his outs. I like Lodolo K's. And in terms of a side, I do lean the Reds. I think Lodolo, he's sort of the stopper for this team. And, they need to win. Phillies keep rolling. So give me Lodolo, give me the Reds, and go about your day. Our next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Freddie Peralta versus Josh Fleming. Right away, Freddie Peralta K's. I think you have to. This guy has looked elite. His fastball looks incredible. His breaking stuff looks great. And he's facing a Pirates team that, metric-wise, is just progressively getting worse. So for me here, I'm sure it's going to be high. I'm sure it's going to be like 7.5. But Peralta K's, I don't see how you can't look at it. He's going to see a lineup with likely, 5-6 targets at a minimum, maybe more, depending on who plays, who doesn't. On the other side, Josh Fleming. This is the guy from the Rays, was a prospect in the organization. Has looked pretty good in limited action. I just don't know what he does against this Milwaukee team. So for me, I'm going to back Freddie Peralta and the Brewers on the road. It's been a spot that I've gone to a couple times already this season, and it just continues to cash. So when Freddie's on the bump, you back Milwaukee.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one is the Dodgers taking on the Nationals. This is Landon Knack versus Jake Irvin. Landon Knack looked pretty good in his major league debut. Not too bad for sure. I think he can hang in here with the Nationals. Their lineup's not too scary. Should be a lot of contact. Should be able to keep the ball in the yard for the most part. On the flip side, Jake Irvin, not great, but he's looked incredible. He looked good against the Dodgers the first time he pitched against them. I think I got to lean the Nationals here. Dodgers have not impressed me overall. They did squeak out a win in the last one, but I just think that right now, come July, they'll be hitting their stride, I'm sure. But right now they're not, and this is where these other teams can kind of take advantage, in my opinion. So give me Jake Irvin and the Nationals. I think they get this one. Our next one is the Tigers taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. This is Jack Flaherty versus Tyler Alexander. Jack Flaherty has the third highest whiff rate in all of baseball currently, if I'm not mistaken. And this Rays team is horribly undisciplined. We just saw them make Kenta Maeda look like the Kenta Maeda we saw last year. So for me here, Jack Flaherty K's, I think you can ladder it to the moon, truthfully. This team is free swinging, not making contact, and they really don't seem to care about changing that. Flip side, Tyler Alexander, he's looked very serviceable. This Tigers team, though, is just extremely hot and swinging the bats really well. So for me here, I do lean the Tigers. Rays, I know it's a tough place to play at the Trop, but they just have not impressed me. They can't get the bats going, and Tigers just continue to swing it. So give me Flaherty and the Tigers. Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on the New York Yankees. This is Joe Boyle versus Clark Schmidt. For me here, you got to look to the Yankees. Clark Schmidt looked really good in his last start. Gets another good spot here. Oakland, obviously not a scary offense, so I think Clark Schmidt can handle business here. Flip side, Joe Boyle, been struggling with his command big time. And against a team like the Yankees, who basically leads the league in pitches per plate appearance, as well as walk percent, he could very easily be out of this game in the fourth inning, just with his pitch count getting run up from not being able to throw strikes. So give me the Yankees, give me Schmidt, give me Boyle walks if we get a reasonable line. I don't see how he doesn't walk at least three guys here. Our next one is the Miami Marlins taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is Sixto Sanchez versus Ronaldo Lopez. I can only assume that this is going to be a bullpen game for Miami. Sixto's been out of the pen, hasn't gone more than an inning in any outing so far this season. So I can just only assume this is a bullpen game for them. I have not seen anything about an opener yet or a bulk reliever yet. So we'll just go with bullpen game for now. Ronaldo Lopez, flip side, looked really good for the Braves. Stuff has looked really sharp in the rotation. I'm going to the Braves here. I know it's against the bullpen game, which sometimes I like to back those because I think it's tough for hitters to find a rhythm. This Braves team is just too good. And Ronaldo Lopez has looked great. And against a team that's not hitting the ball well, I think he can handle business here and Braves pick up another win. Our next one is the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Kansas City Royals. This is Yariel Rodriguez versus Alec Marsh. Not a game that I really like. A small lean to Toronto. Yariel Rodriguez has looked really good. And Alec Marsh, I think this is a tough spot for him. Obviously, it helps him that the Blue Jays, swing quick and, keep it bat short. But he gives up quite a bit of hard contact, and I think he can really struggle against this team. Yariel Rodriguez has looked really good. Obviously, the Royals swing the bats extremely well. But having not ever really seen him yet, I think he can take advantage of that. So give me the Blue Jays in the first five. I don't want to go anywhere beyond that with their bullpen. But I think Rodriguez in the first five, he can hold the Royals in check, and they can get a couple runs off of Alec Marsh. Our next one is the White Sox taking on the Twins. This is Garrett Crochet versus Joe Ryan. Obviously, one of the best pitching matchups on the slate. I like both guys' Ks. I think it's a good spot for both guys to rack them up. White Sox have been surprisingly pretty K-adverse, but Joe Ryan, extremely deep arsenal, and I think he's just going to pick these guys apart. Crochet, obviously, high velo, good slider. Two things that the Twins struggle with. So, like I said, great spot for him to rack them up as well. Probably going to be a little bit chalky, but the nerfy, I think no runs in the first inning is a great look in this one with these guys. Neither offense particularly good, so I think they can get through the first inning for sure without giving up a run. Our next one is the Astros taking on the Cubs. This is Spencer Arguetti versus Jameson Taillon. Tough spot for Taillon against this Astros team. Obviously, dangerous lineup. Taillon looked pretty good in his first start, but I think a little bit of a wake-up call is on the way here. Astros, hot bats. Obviously, they're at Wrigley. Depending on what the weather looks like, this one could get ugly, in my opinion, for Taillon pretty quick. Arguetti, on the other side, has not been good same thing goes for him. I lean over in this game. I think we're going to see runs. I think we're going to see these bullpens in this game early. And if that's the case, we're going to see more runs because the Houston Astros bullpen is not any good. The next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the Texas Rangers. This is Bryce Miller versus John Gray. Immediately here, Bryce Miller heavily reliant on the fastball. A bit concerning against the Rangers, obviously. John Gray on the other side. It's been a mixed bag since he came back from injury. Not somebody who I'm really willing to go run and bet and back. But for me here, I do have a small lean to the Rangers, truthfully. It's just more of I'm concerned with Bryce Miller against this Rangers lineup. Obviously, Seattle, dangerous lineup as well. But John Gray has just found a way to kind of maneuver things and limit damage. So for me here, I go with Texas Rangers. Very small lean. Don't love it, obviously. Probably one of my least favorite plays on the entire slate. But nothing else really jumps out at me here. Not a big fan of either guy's strikeouts. The Rangers are bottom 3 in K% versus right-handed pitching. So tough spot for Bryce to rack up Ks. Obviously, John Gray, you can look at his Ks if you want because Seattle has the highest K% versus right-handed pitching. But he's a guy who it's a little tricky because he can be effective by just kind of pitching to contact. And usually when he tries to run up the Ks is when he struggles because he can't hit his spots. He starts walking guys and then it kind of snowballs from there. So like I said, small lean to his over Ks if you want. But my favorite spot in this one would probably be Texas money line. Our next one is the Padres taking on the Rockies. It's Matt Waldron versus Ty Blanche. I don't see how you don't back the Padres here. Ty Blanche, left-handed pitcher, not very good. Kind of falls in that same category of the certified turkey tossers. So for me here, Padres in every which way you can get them. Team total, run line, whatever you want. Waldron, been more than serviceable. They can turn it over to their bullpen. That's been pretty good as well. And I don't see how they don't just run this one up here against Blanche. That does conclude our slate. If you like what you heard, if you like what you're seeing, drop a like, drop a comment. It means the world to me. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said before, this is a daily thing, trying to give you guys some good content. And as always, if you have a gambling problem, please dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks, guys.